Welcome back to another a video on Hellfire and Back. Today we're going to look at the British. We're going to go quickly through the different companies available and talk about some of the other options.
Cool. Yeah, they've got the most variety out of anyone in the book, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, we've got forces representing the Commonwealth troops that were in the campaign, and also the 7th Armoured Division, of course, which supplied the armour and the motorised infantry, etc.
And I suppose the British went through the most change throughout the Desert War, didn't they?
Yeah, a lot of new equipment arrived during the 40 to 41 period. A lot of new things saw action. So inside you'll find there's two warriors. There's Jock Campbell, who's famed for being commander of the Royal Horse Artillery in the 7th Armoured Division. He was one of the officers that led the columns of mixed elements from the support group. They'd go out and patrol the desert basically and probe the Italian lines, etc. So yeah.
The other one is John Edmondson.
Yep, he's an Australian VC winner who courageously fought off two Germans attacking his officer in his platoon during the attacks on Tobruk, and he died during his attempt. So he's a bit of a sort of an assaulty sort of guy.
Cool. I suppose the first list in the book is an armoured regiment.
Yes, the armoured regiment. So very similar to the armoured regiment in Blitzkrieg. It consists of you buy companies of tanks and then you deploy them as platoons when you actually fight on the table. Well, they deploy in one lot, but then they fight as platoons on the table.
And they're a mix of A9s, A10s, A13s. You can take captured M1340s and light Mark 6Bs.
Yeah, so there's a wide variety of things available. And then to represent later on the new equipment arriving, we've also got a Crusader company or squadron, which consists of Crusader tanks, and we also have a Honey Stewart squadron, which consists of Lend-Lease Honey Stewart light tanks. Yeah. And they started arriving from mid-41 onwards and took part in operations like Crusader and Battle Axe, etc.
Cool. I mean, I suppose the other interesting thing about British tanks in the desert is that they're in quarter.
Yeah, we've got some Matilda tanks and some Honey Stewart tanks here in quarter scheme, as well as some A13s and some A10s. It's quite a really nice looking scheme. Looks rather striking, and hopefully in the future we'll have a few videos and web articles about how to do that.
And then the other cool thing, armoured cars.
Yep, armoured cars. So there's an armoured car squadron. There's a wide variety of armoured cars we use in the desert by both the 11th Hussars and the Royal Dragoon Guards. We've got one platoon here painted up. It consists of two Rolls-Royce armoured cars and a Morris CS9 as a command vehicle. They've
got a really cool special role called Swanning About the Blue.
Yeah, basically this means that if they're attacking in a game and the opponent is after the opponent is set up and everything's ready, they can adjust the position of one of the objectives to make it a little easier. Usually to maybe move it out of some heavy defences and give the light armoured cars access to it. Basically this is about the armoured cars probing the line rather than trying to full on attack things.
Yeah, very fun list. And then of course we've already mentioned it, the Jock column.
Yep, Jock column, which is basically a motor company, but because of the way they operated, their support comes from the rest of the 7th Armoured Division support group rather than the whole 7th Armoured Division. You can have a few tank supporting units, but you get things like the Royal Horse Artillery, their anti-tank guns, their anti-aircraft guns, things like that.
Yeah, and it's all based on just being a mobile force.
One of their famous operations by basically a Jock column is the Battle of Bedford, where the roadblock was basically a Jock column set up in a roadblock, while the armoured brigades came from the flank. And
I understand you've just done a battle report, which is going to appear in Y soon.
Yep, there's going to be a battle report in the edition of WI soon, so yeah, keep an eye out for that.
Then of course now we get on to all of the rest of the 8th Army.
Yeah, so we've got the infantry tank company, which are the Matildas. These things played a real important part in the early campaigns against the Italians. The Italians found the Matildas virtually unstoppable. So they led the way, striking through places like Bardia and Tobruk, breaking through the defences, just driving forward.
And then we've also got the addition now of the Valentine.
Yeah, the Valentine. So later on in 41, Valentine started to arrive. That's not as well armoured as the Matilda, but a little bit more versatile. You get a few more in the army because they're not
a bit more cost effective.
Cost effective, yeah. So
I mean, It's early war. Who needs more than 6 front armour?
Yes.
Div Cav.
Yeah, divisional cavalry. The Australians and New Zealanders fielded divisional cavalry units in part of their divisions. These consisted of either light Mark 6B tanks and carriers, or carriers and Marmon Harringtons, or in the case of the the New Zealanders in the desert, later on they also managed to recapture some Honey Stewarts that the British had lost, the Germans had got, and then they got the Honey Stewarts back. So, and they used a platoon of them as well.
And the Australians can take captured M1139s and M40s?
Yep, so in the desert they captured, after taking Tobruk, they captured a large number of, in Bardia, a large number of tanks. They pushed them into their divisional cavalry and used them for a short time.
After painting giant kangaroos all over them?
Yep. And also, when they were fighting in Syria, the divisional cavalry also captured a few R-35 French tanks and used them in Syria. But that not in the desert, but actually in Syria. So we've got a British Rifle Company, which represents Indians and British. A lot of the British units that fought in the desert early on were actually part of the Indian division. So it seemed like a good fit to put the Indians and the British together.
Cool.
And the other rifle company we have is the Commonwealth Rifle Company, which represents the New Zealanders, the Australians, and the South Africans. All three of which fought in 1941, and of course the Australians fought in 1940 as well.
And like the Midwell book, North Africa, they've all got their own ratings, their own special rules to reflect what they did and how they performed in the war. Yeah,
and the final list, of course, is the Tobruk strong point, which is the Australians defending Tobruk. So basically, similar to the Italian one, they've taken over all the Italian positions that were surrounding Tobruk. They've did a bit more work on them, put some more mines and barbed wire, etc. down. And so we've designed a list where you buy a strong point, which consists of various fortified obstacles plus a machine gun nest and a gun nest. Now the Australians they didn't man the strong points as heavily as the Italians did, so they're usually like a rifle section or something manning. So we don't actually put any infantry teams as such in that strong point. So that strong point consists of the 3 nests and the extra fortifications.
They really were used as a blocking force until reinforcements could arrive.
Yeah, because the Tobruk garrison had its own amount of tanks, things like that, so they could counterattack, and they also used rifle companies to counterattack, etc. So the idea was that the strong points would slow the German or Italian assault down, and then they'd be able to drop artillery and pick them off as they came through the defences with anti-tank guns and things like that as well. Yeah. In the divisional support, you'll find all your normal things like anti-tank, artillery, anti-aircraft, and aircraft. So
there's lots of different options available. There's 2-pounders, 37mm anti-tank guns, 25-pounders, 18-pounders, 4.5-inch guns.
Yeah, so but anti-aircraft is like 40mm Bofors as well as captured 20mm Italian guns and things like that.
Yeah. Very cool. Take a closer look.
Yeah.
And the special rules, I suppose.
Special rules, British special rules. Of course, you don't get a lot of the artillery combining batteries thing, because most of these have available 12-gun batteries, so that there isn't a second battery available. So but that's about the only real difference to the other special rules that you might find in the rule book.
Yeah. They've got all the usual suspects: tally-ho, broadside, British Bulldog, carry-on sergeant, everything else. So
yeah, all the things you'd expect to get with a British force.
Yeah. So just check that up in the main rulebook. And I guess that about covers the British.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.